As most of you are aware of, there's been a bit of a change at Rockstar Games. And it was officially announced yesterday by Take-Two Interactive, the publisher parent company of Rockstar Games. They've announced that Dan Houser, vice president, co-founder of Rockstar Games, will be leaving. Take-Two Interactive said after an extended break beginning in the spring of 2019, Dan Houser, vice president, creative at Rockstar Games, also the co-founder along with his brother Sam, will be leaving the company. Dan Houser's last day will be March 11th, 2020. We are extremely grateful for his contributions. Rockstar Games has built some of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful game worlds. A global community of passionate fans, an incredible talented team which remains focused on current and future projects. And as you can tell by the stock, Take-Two has taken a little bit of a hit. Whether or not that has anything to do with this announcement remains to be seen. But this is a major blow to Rockstar Games going forward. And while I was looking through Twitter, I came across this interesting photo. Now, to the left of Dan Houser is Leslie Benzies. He was another Rockstar head responsible for a lot of stuff. And shortly after Grand Theft Auto 5, he went on an extended break and never came back. So it's very interesting that after the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2, Dan Houser, co-founder and head writer of Red Dead Redemption 2 and executive producer of Red Dead Redemption 2, also went on a break and now is going away on March 11th. So it seems like in this case history is repeating itself. Now, Dan Houser's contributions along with Leslie Benzies to the Rockstar Games cannot be underestimated. The last game that Leslie Benzies was part of was Grand Theft Auto 5. And that was a huge loss to the company whenever he ultimately was pushed out, as many would claim. Plus, there's still, I think, the lawsuit going on between him and Rockstar Games over monies that he is owed. Okay, so Dan Houser, once again, is the co-founder of Rockstar Games along with his brother Sam. And he's voice acted a little bit of voice acting. And he's done some producing, some executive producing, like from the beginning where he first started writing for Rockstar Games with his brother. Let's see, Grand Theft Auto London, all the way up to Red Dead Redemption 2. He had went from being a producer to an executive producer. But if we go by Wikipedia, a lot of these games you may recognize. So we'll lump them together and start with the Grand Theft Autos. Grand Theft Auto London 1969, which was kind of a DLC to the original Grand Theft Auto game. And then GTA 2, Grand Theft Auto 3, along with Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas, Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, Grand Theft Auto 4, along with the story DLCs for Grand Theft Auto 4, Lost in the Damned, as well as Battle to Tony. And then, of course, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, and most recently, Grand Theft Auto 5. And then, of course, Red Dead Redemption 1, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, and most recently, Red Dead Redemption 2. And to a lesser extent, there were some other games that he also was the head writer on. Bully, Max Payne 3, Midnight Club Los Angeles, as well as Smuggler's Run 2. So if you go by that resume, that very impressive resume of excellent games written by Dan Houser. Now, there was a writing team as well. He wasn't the only writer, but in a lot of these, he was the head writer. And going forward with Rockstar Games, post Dan Houser, it really makes you wonder if the quality of the games are going to start to suffer. And another question I do have is that, has Dan already written out scripts for future Rockstar content before he bowed out? Now, Dan Houser's only in his 40s, but he's probably done a ton of work, countless hours, writing scripts and being executive producer of these games. But yeah, he's only 45 or 46 years old. I guess we don't know exactly what year he was born in. But I'm sure, he's probably at that point where he just wants to take a break. He probably has made plenty of money, hopefully, by being co-founder of Rockstar Games. as well as vice president and head writer and executive producer, you think that he's able to retire at the age of 45 or 46 and live quite comfortably. Of course, as a writer, he's probably, maybe he's interested in moving on to other things. Maybe he's going to start writing on TV shows or movies. He's a fantastic writer, and you know what? Right now, we probably could use some really good writers on TV shows and movies, because a lot of them are not as good as they used to be. So maybe Dan Houser's going in that direction. Personally, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. And if I ever hear about a TV show or a movie where he's the executive producer and the showrunner, the writer of, that will definitely pique my interest. Or a movie. But you can look at a lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of these games listed at RockstarGames.com that have been touched by Dan Houser's creativity, by his mind. And, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, Bully, Max Payne 3, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, the episodes from Liberty's Story, along with Midnight Club Los Angeles, Grand Theft Auto 4, Chinatown Wars. See Vice City Stories, along with San Andreas, Liberty City Stories. So many of these games are in existence, and partially because of Dan Houser. I mean, not just Dan Houser. I mean, like I said, there were other writers, and also the developers, those that worked behind the scenes, the testers and all of them, and those in the art department that created these beautiful worlds that we have enjoyed over the years. But a story can be only as good as, the writing in it. So you could have a fantastic movie, big budget, as we've seen time and time again, and it looks great, but the writing leaves a lot to be desired. The plot's weak, the characters not so well developed, but with stories in these worlds that were created in part by Dan Houser, you can see the time and the attention and love that was put into these characters. Whether it was the main characters like the Vanderlyn gang, or ancillary characters that just happen to run across, or antagonists, the protagonists. I mean, some of the best protagonists in video games are from the world of Rockstar. Arthur Morgan, John Marston, as well as Nico Bellic, and the list goes on. And I'm sure that one of you out there probably has a favorite protagonist or protagonists that are in your top 5 that probably were in one of these games, like Jimmy Hopkins, or Michael, Trevor, or Franklin. Or Max Payne. I mean, I know he didn't write Max Payne 1 or 2, but, he had influence in Max Payne 3, and a lot of people liked Max Payne 3. So, yeah, it's a major hit to Rockstar right now, and to Rockstar fans, that Dan Houser is officially leaving Rockstar Games. And there's been a lot of speculation on Twitter right now that may be similar to Leslie Benzies. He was forced out because Take-Two has been pressuring Rockstar Games for the longest time to pump out more games. And Rockstar obviously likes to take their time. And part of that was mainly because of the Housers and Dan Houser wanting to go with quality over quantity. And while it sucks as a gamer who would love to play a new GTA every 3 years as opposed to every 10 years, I still eagerly await Grand Theft Auto 6. But this news regarding Dan Houser leaving Rockstar Games does worry me a little bit. Now, I would like to believe that scripts are written long in advance, including, say, Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe even... I probably not Red Dead Redemption 3, but at the very least, maybe Dan Houser's already had a part to play in the script and the writing of Grand Theft Auto 6, and maybe even Bully 2. I mean, Bully 2 has been rumored for a very long time now. It's been canceled and restarted, and it's very possible that Bully 2 is still in existence to some degree, and maybe that script has already been written by Dan Houser. And there's probably scripts for other IPs, other ideas, other sequels, prequels that Dan's probably already put together. So you may still see his name on future Rockstar projects like Grand Theft Auto 6 or possibly Bully 2, or I would doubt Red Dead Redemption 3 because they were writing that up to the very end, I think. But yeah, I just don't know about the future of Rockstar at the moment. mean, there's obviously a great team worldwide of developers that work very hard. Unfortunately, they don't get paid as much as they deserved, and I've heard bad stories about what happens behind the scenes at Rockstar's and a lot of the other development studios as well, especially during crunch time. But it is unfortunate that if that is true, that Dan Houser was just ultimately pushed out, similar to Leslie Benzies following Grand Theft Auto 5, then that's only going to make things worse going forward for Rockstar. And I've always believed that Rockstar was big enough to stand on its own. That Take-Two needed Rockstar far more than Rockstar needed Take-Two. And I really wish that the Houser brothers and Leslie would have just simply just found a way to get Rockstar out from under the heels of Take-Two and just become their own independent publisher developer, because I think Rockstar would be better off for it. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. And I feel like with Dan Houser out of the way, I don't know as much about Sam Houser as Dan. He seems to be a lot more reclusive. Maybe he's more of the company man. He's the corporate suit at the top, and he knows the game. But at the end of the day, you got to say that he was a gamer too, because him and his brother, they started Rockstar Games. But I don't know. I mean, maybe Sam's next. We really don't know the influence, pros or cons, that Sam Houser has when it comes to Rockstar as well as Take-Two. But for the most part, Take-Two has pretty much allowed Rockstar Games to do what they want, while they pretty much push around all their other studios, like the 2K studios, and a couple others as well, including, I believe, Hangar 13 to some degree. And lately, we've seen some pretty bad games coming out from 2K. Case in point with the latest NBA game with the gambling in it. It's a basketball game. There shouldn't be gambling in a basketball game. I know people gamble on basketball games and other sports games, but it feels like they were taking a page out of EA Sports' playbook. And that's very unfortunate, and that's just one of numerous examples recently. And there's been some good games that have come out through 2K as well, so you can't just say it's all bad. I mean, there's some good stuff as well, but when it comes to Rockstar, yeah, I really wish that Rockstar would have just stayed independent. I think they could have been successful enough without Take-Two, and they're big enough, and they have some pretty good IPs like GTA, Red Dead, Bully, and then they possibly could create one or two other IPs to go along with it. Maybe future Midnight Club. But sadly, it's an end of an era for Rockstar. First, Leslie leaves after Grand Theft Auto 5. Once again, an extended break. And then the president's gone. And now the co-founder, executive producer, head writer of a lot of these games that we've mentioned, also leaving March 11th. And I'm fairly certain that he's not going to spend the next 6 days, finishing out the script for Grand Theft Auto 6. It's either already finished, and he may have already had a part to play in that. So chances are he's probably technically already gone. It's just a formality, by Take-Two saying that his official final day at Rockstar Games is March 11th. But going forward, I am very concerned for the future of Rockstar Games, and maybe you won't see as big of an impact with Grand Theft Auto 6, especially if Dan Houser already had a part to play in scripting that and writing it. But beyond Grand Theft Auto 6, I feel like, unless they get some good writers in there, maybe they do. And, maybe you'll have people in there that are passionate about the world of Grand Theft Auto and the world of Red Dead and Bully, and they're able to carry on with the torch. But you look at what happened with Star Wars, for example, and when George Lucas passed that over to Disney, and a lot of us were optimistic that, okay, well, Disney will hire the right people and they understand how Star Wars works. Most of us do. And obviously that didn't turn out so well with the sequel trilogies. So it's quite possible that this could be another step in the wrong direction for Rockstar Games. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But whatever Dan Houser happens to have planned for himself post Rockstar Games, I hope it's a long, happy life he has. And I hope that it's not the last time we see something written by him, maybe books. Maybe, like I said, maybe he'll end up becoming an executive producer or showrunner for a future TV show or movie franchise or other games out there. But anyways, I wish you the best, Dan Houser. It sucks that you're leaving Rockstar Games just like Leslie Benzies did. But at the end of the day, it just feels like slowly but surely Take-Two is seizing control of Rockstar. And that is definitely not a good sign for the future games of Rockstar. And maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 will be the last of the quote-unquote Dan Houser era, because we don't know very much about Grand Theft Auto 6. But I have to believe that he had some part to play in that. Maybe he'll be credited as the executive producer and a head writer for that. And we'll just see how it goes. But anyways, that's my thoughts regarding Dan Houser leaving Rockstar Games coming up in just a few days from now. I wish him all the best. And I also wish Rockstar all the best, and hopefully they'll get some good people to step up and there'll be future awesome Rockstar games. But I feel like Take-Two Interactive is, infecting Rockstar, and you're going to start seeing Rockstar become more and more like Ubisoft. And it wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing their IPs pumping out games on a more regular basis. Some people may say that's a good thing. Well, that'd be great, getting a Grand Theft Auto every 3 years, or Red Dead every 3 years, or maybe even a Bully every 3 years. But is it? If the quality starts to deteriorate, my answer would be no. I would rather wait a little extra time for them to have, good story, good characters, and, an excellent game. But I've seen how this has transpired before, time and time again with previous other IPs, developers, and publishers. And I just fear that in this case, history is repeating itself in a post-Dan Houser Rockstar Games era. Brave new world that we have to look forward to. Your thoughts, views, and opinions regarding Dan Houser leaving Rockstar Games are welcome below in the comments section.